12 minutes. 18 people, many more in the hospital. Infinitely more affected for life. Witnesses say they saw officials moving body bags out of Schmenge's Bar and Grill. That was this morning. Another survivor at the bowling alley said that the rifle jammed. And the fact that the rifle jammed may have saved a lot of people's lives. Why did he do it? Nobody knows yet, but there is one person who says he may have a working lead at this point. It's the former Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism at the New York City Police. His name's John Miller. He's long been involved in counterterror from 9/11 and beforehand. Also seasoned reporter, formerly at ABC News. He said that his sources are working a theory that Robert Card had recently broken up with his girlfriend, and that his girlfriend and he used to frequent these two venues, the bowling alley and the restaurant. Again, a working theory that comes from John Miller, former Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterror at the NYPD. Don't know if it's a working theory that's going to pan out, but that did cross, their bow this morning. Katie Card. Katie Card is Robert Card's sister-in-law, and she told the Daily Beast, he's quiet, but the most loving, hardworking, and kind person that I know. But in the past year, he's had an acute episode of mental health, and it's been a struggle. She went on to say that he recently began wearing hearing aids, that the suspect in this mass murder recently began wearing hearing aids, and said he could hear people talking about him at both the bowling alley and the bar. His brother Ryan Card told CNN that the family has helped law enforcement in any way possible, and that they've been urging Robert to turn himself in. I want to bring in now Chris Swecker. He's former assistant director of the FBI Criminal Investigations Unit. Chris was instrumental in capturing Eric Rudolph, the Olympic Park bomber. And Jim Maxwell is a retired FBI agent, bomb tech, and instructor on active shooter training. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Chris, I'll begin with you. What do you make of that working theory from John Miller that he may have recently broken up with a girlfriend and that they used to frequent these two venues together?
Well, yeah, I know John. He worked at the Bureau as well. He was a CBS reporter for a while before he went in the Bureau as their spokesperson. He knows the difference between rumor and fact. So I would take it to the bank that if he has that as a working theory, that means there's some information behind it. And, I said earlier in the day that I thought this was something personal. And it just feels that way. Those locations he was very familiar with. And I think there was some posting on one of his Facebook pages that he was a frequent bowler or hit the bowling alley fairly often. So I think it's a good working theory. And I think there was something that made him snap, and this could have been the thing that made him snap, in addition to losing his job, in addition to having friction as a National Guard specialist. So, that's a plausible theory, Ashleigh.
So, Jim, weigh in on this. His sister-in-law said that he'd been wearing hearing aids recently and was complaining about people talking about him at both the bowling alley and the restaurant. So just add to that metric.
Well, it just reinforces the history he has with psychological problems this past summer. And it's not unusual. Anybody who's worked in law enforcement, works the complaint desk, you deal with mentally imbalanced people all the time. And you have a lot of people say, I hear voices and people tell me to do things. So that's not unusual when you're dealing with a mentally imbalanced person. But I will go back on the domestic aspect of this. A lot of these incidents, I would say a little over 10% of them, find their roots in some sort of domestic catalyst. And I can tell you statistically, more police officers are injured or killed intervening in domestics where what I mean is a fight or a disagreement between a husband and a wife, or a boyfriend and a girlfriend. So Mr. Miller's theory on that is very plausible at this point.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.